SoloMoms Talk was designed to curate the stories of solo moms globally. As a facilitator of this platform, I aim to create a peaceful environment where you can share your heart, feel loved, and get the advice you need. So if this sounds like you, why not RSVP for our next virtual meetup? The link is below. It's where you can retreat from the chaos of your life so you can recharge, connect with other moms, and get answers to your burning questions. Remember, you're not alone and you don't have to parent in silence. Today I'm speaking with Megan McLaren. Welcome, Megan. Thanks for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sure, absolutely. Now, to get the juices flowing, may I ask you to introduce yourself to us and just tell us who you are?
Yeah, so my name's Megan McLaren. I am a registered social worker by background. Been practicing now for just over 8 years. I also work as a behavioral health consultant, so I spend most of my time in doctors' offices as a consultant to them, primarily with clients who have a mental health diagnosis. Have a role as a clinical educator to that setting as well. And then I also have my own life coaching business. So I wear quite a few different hats.
Right. Okay. Thank you. And so do you serve as a therapist, for example, or do you go further, more a psychiatrist?
So I don't serve as a therapist. So the difference of what I do between a therapist is that I focus primarily on symptom management.
Okay.
So when patients come to see me and they're having symptoms of maybe anxiety and depression, my focus is around getting that sensation in their body to get a bit better. So I only spend about 30 minutes with my patients, so it's very focused.
Okay. All right. Understood. And so you've introduced yourself, sorry, but you also are some other things, as most women are lots of things. So are you a mother? And if you are, tell us what type of mother you are and how your life gel, as a mother.
So I am a mother. I have 2 biological twin girls. And then I'm also a stepmother. I have 2 teenage stepsons as well.
Okay.
So very busy trying to kind of juggle that in my career life. It's been quite a journey for me as a mother, as obviously I had my stepsons first before having my own daughters. And when I first met my stepsons, I was only 25. So a bit of a shock. Yeah. Oh, that must have been I don't know. I guess that was very strange with boys. Did they look at you strange? And luckily they were very welcoming. They were young when I met them. They were about 6 and 7.
Aww.
Yeah. But it was a bit of a different dynamic, obviously, me being so young.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really knows what they're getting into when they start dating somebody with children. Me being 25, I think I thought I knew what I was getting myself into.
Well, we all think we know.
But as you grow and mature, that changes. Yeah.
Okay, so you're a stepmom, and you were a stepmom before you were a mom. What are some of the challenges that come with being a stepmom?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of challenges, trying to find my role in that co-parenting relationship with my husband. Obviously honoring their biological mother, because that's always been of the utmost importance to me. I'm not here to replace their mother. I'm here to be another supportive figure. Trying to find that balance within my own boundaries too, making sure that my role as their stepmom is still honored and respected, and that I'm taking care of myself.
Yes.
Really shifted over the 8 years. I think when I first started, I threw so much of my time and energy into it that I found myself getting involved in situations that maybe weren't authentic. And it just led to a lot of feelings of resentment, actually. And so I had to kind of think about, what is my role here? What is my intentions here? What do I want, from my relationship with my stepsons? And so, like I said, it's really shifted as they've grown up and as I've gotten to know myself better.
Yeah.
I'm focused on my own mental health.
Right. So maybe you felt you were trying too hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Nailed it.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see why at that age, and you met you love of your life, and you're competing for his attention from three other people, not just the two kids, but the other mom. So yeah, I get it. I
think I just wanted to, do good by them. Right?
Yeah.
I was always thinking, I don't want them to feel like they're missing something.
Mm-hmm.
And really those expectations just came from myself. Nobody else expected me to be that.
Yeah.
But when you put those huge expectations on yourself, sometimes you run into a bit of a situation where you're kind of burning the candle at both ends.
Yes.
Like I was running myself ragged trying to be the best possible stepmom.
Yes.
That it kind of bit me in the butt in the end.
Yeah, of course. So tell me about your work and what do you do to help somebody to manage their mental health, and why are you focused on that?
Yeah, so, I work with patients of any gender and any age, so I always say 0 to 100, but I really love working with moms, being a mom myself, and kind of helping support them in their mental health, because whether they're a new mom or whether they've been a mom for 20 years, I think as mothers, we innately, put ourselves last.
Yeah.
We want to give everything to our children. And sometimes we're not aware as to how that does really impact our mental health, whether that's through, really high expectations of ourselves, or maybe carrying around some guilt if we do take that time for ourselves. So my role is to really support them in setting those healthy boundaries, helping them to really get to know, their body, how they're feeling, especially with clients that I see that are particularly anxious, whether that's because they're postpartum or, like I said, even though they've been a mom for 30 years.
Yeah.
And just really supporting them. Some people need permission to take time for themselves. And so I'm there to be that supportive guidance and saying, absolutely, you need to put yourself first before you kind of pour into others.
Yeah, that is good advice, and it's advice that moms, but especially solo moms, don't take. And because we feel like we don't deserve to take care of ourselves, or we don't have time to, because everything has to be poured into the kids, right?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So how can we get in touch with you if we need your service?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook. I have a Facebook page there, Megan McLaren Coaching. I'm on Instagram, Megan McLaren Coach, and I also have a website, www.meganmclarencoach. So I'm very active on social media, love working with patients of any gender, like I said, but especially supporting moms, because I've had my own journey with that. I've been very open about my own struggles with postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression. So I get it. I get the struggles of how it is to put yourself last. And so hopefully people can learn through some of my errors.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to tell us about the postpartum depression. I've been fortunate not to have had that. Or if I did, I didn't recognize it. So it is possible I didn't recognize it. But my daughter-in-law just had my second grandchild, and it was a rough one. It was a rough birth, and I expect that something sad may come up. Tell us about your experience, and what type of solutions do you offer for some, a mom like that?
Yeah, so my experience was one that I never saw coming. I was so excited to be pregnant, and then even more excited to find out I was having twins, and I had a fantastic pregnancy. But what ended up happening was I had an emergency C-section, and my girls were born premature. And so I didn't get to see them or hold them for at least 24 hours, and that really impacted me.
Yeah.
And then, once I got home, again, those high expectations got the best of me. I thought I had to be, up and feeding and cleaning and cooking and trying to serve everybody but myself.
Yeah.
And that old adage of, nap when the baby's napped never happened. I don't have any recollection of ever taking a nap when my twins were born. And then I also had my stepsons too to take care of. And so by not prioritizing my own needs, not making sure I was even eating throughout the day because I thought that I just had to give everything to my children. My physical health started to go. I was completely sleep deprived. And then, my mental health went with that.
Yeah.
And when you're in it, it's so hard to see from the outside because we are our own worst critic. And everybody around me was telling me that I needed to rest. But to me, resting meant not being a good mother, which of course is not the case.
Yes.
But I, again, felt like I had something to prove. I felt like I needed to show everybody that I could nail this twin mom thing when really I was dying inside. I mean, really, I was falling apart. And so the solution to that was right around my girl's first birthday. I just said, I can't do this anymore because by not taking care of myself, I was starting to become impatient, with my family and with my children. The joy in mothering was really starting to not be there at all. And I just couldn't do that anymore. If I couldn't do it for myself, I really wanted to do it for my children. And so I got therapy, which was the most helpful. And luckily, they just kind of pulled out some of those skills that I already had in terms of setting those strong boundaries, making sure I was asking for help, making sure I was communicating my needs, telling my husband, hey, I need to eat, I need to go to the bathroom, and letting those people help me.
Yes. Yes, for sure. I think that at that time, we're probably in brain fog. I mean, if there is any brain fog, it's during that time after birth and when we're tired. And I mean, a C-section, I can't even imagine. So, double C-section. Yeah, it was brutal. So, and there's so much that goes into that in terms of how mothers deliver too, birth in itself can be a traumatic experience for a lot of women. And then we're just expected to be up and going and taking care of our babies, right? And we're exhausted. And so I think society sometimes makes it like it's a good thing to be exhausted and to celebrate that exhaustion. And so we feel like, oh, well, this is just maybe how it's supposed to be. Right
of passage. Exhausted. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. No.
But through asking for help, and really communicating my needs, I was able to pull myself out of that.
Yes. That's good. I'm glad you figured it out before it killed you. Maybe it wouldn't have killed you physically, but otherwise, kill your marriage and just destroy you totally. I had a guest last year sometime. I think her name was Dorit Palvanov. And she talks about the menstrual cycle and how we as women, when we go through it, we don't take care of ourselves. And I'm thinking that what she's saying is that our time as women, whatever happens within our body, those natural things, childbirth, period, menopause, is a time for us to take care of ourselves. And I think that's something we miss because, we think we have to be super at,
that's right.
Super at everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always use that adage with my clients that, when you fly, they tell you to put the air mask on yourself before you help others, right?
Yeah.
I'm always telling moms that we have to put the air mask on ourselves if we're going to be an effective mother to our children. Because if we go down, who else is going to keep that ship afloat? That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, that's good. All right. So what is Megan grateful for today?
Oh, gosh, I am grateful for so many things. I was just putting my kids to bed before I hopped on this podcast. And every time I look at my children, I am so, so thankful that they are healthy because they were born 6 weeks premature. But I'm also grateful for the little things. And I make an intentional practice to be grateful every morning. I always write down those 3 things that I'm grateful for. And sometimes they're small. My one grateful thing this morning was my hot cup of tea because here in Canada, it's minus 40. So it's very, very cold.
Yeah, well, I'm sort of kind of up the street from you. I'm in US, so I'm not far away.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Yeah. And throughout this whole season, of the pandemic, I've been so lucky to not have been touched by that yet. My family has remained healthy, and I'm just incredibly grateful for that.
Yes, for sure. That's good. All right. So do you practice self-care, and what does that look like for you now that we've gotten through all that?
Yeah, I do practice self-care. I'm a bit of a self-care warrior in that I have no problem now communicating my needs. When I first started that process, I was filled with guilt, and it takes practice to kind of relinquish that guilt. So the first time I stepped out of the house, the first time I really was just going for drives to take some peace, didn't feel very good. But now, I'm kind of 2 years into the process, and it feels great. It feels restorative.
Yeah.
So I practice self-care by walking, by getting outside. I love to practice yoga. I love to connect with friends. Connection is a huge thing for so many people to fill their cup. And so I try and intentionally create that time to connect with my people, even if it's just via Zoom.
Yes.
During the week, so that I can fill my cup and be something else than just a mother and a social worker and all the other hats. I need that time to just be Megan.
Yes, for sure. Definitely. All right. I appreciate you coming and talking to us today. But before I let you go, give us one piece of advice for a solo mom right now.
Yeah. So my biggest piece of advice for solo moms would be to actually schedule your daily self-care, even if that's just one small thing you can do. If you were sitting in front of me, I would want to know the exact time that you were going to do it. When are you going to carve that time into your day? Because then you're so much more likely to do it, as opposed to saying, well, I'm going to do it when everybody else is taken care of.
Right.
I want to know that you're committed to putting you on the agenda as well.
Yeah, makes sense. If it's not on the calendar, it's just a dream.
You are not doing it.
Right. Okay. Anything else?
And just be kind to yourself. As moms, again, I think we're always quick to see all the things that maybe we should have done or we didn't do. But in reality, we are the most perfect mom for our kids. Nobody can do it better than us.
Amen.
So just be kind to yourself in that process.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much, Megan McLaren, for coming and speaking to us today. And I'll put the link to your website and your social media handle in the show notes so people can get in touch with you if they need you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.
I'm excited to share that SoloMoms Talk is now on YouTube. Check out these interviews on our new channel, SoloMoms Talk TV. There you will actually see the interaction between myself and my guests. You will also find bite-sized clips of daily inspiration to help you manage the struggles of everyday life. So click SoloMoms Talk TV below to watch now.